Afternoon and welcome to From Where We Are, stories of news and culture through the lens of USC and Southern California. I'm Jack Kruger coming to you live from Studio B in USC's Annenberg Media Center.
And I'm Cheyenne Dixon. It's Monday, October 30th, 2023. It's also National Candy Corn Day, just in time for Halloween. Jack, are you a fan of candy corn?
I say if the occasion calls for it, then yes. What about you, Cheyenne?
I love candy corn and I think it should be all year round. But on today's show, Pence drops out of the 2024 election.
The Arroyo Fest takes over the San Gabriel Valley's freeways.
And students tell us about the spookiest places on campus. All that and more from Where We Are. But first, these news headlines with 6 Orange.
From Annenberg Radio News, I'm 6 Orange, with 5 stories in 5 minutes. 5 quick hits so you'll know what's happening at home and around the world. Actor Matthew Perry was found dead Saturday in the jacuzzi of his Los Angeles home at the age of 54. Perry famously starred as Chandler Bing in the popular sitcom Friends. Authorities ruled his death a drowning, with no foul play suspected at the moment. On Friday, USC Graduate Student Union workers voted in favor of a strike. The Graduate Student Workers Organizing Committee United Auto Workers announced via Instagram that the 2,000-member union is seeking fair wages, real recourse, and a strong union from USC. In response, the university expressed its disappointment in the vote and restated that they will not meet the union's demands. Cell and internet service returned to Gaza recently after a 2-day blackout. Israeli airstrikes and ground operations knocked out nearly all Palestinian communications on Friday, which would not return until Sunday morning. The loss of service and social media access made reporting from the 140-square-mile territory over the weekend nearly impossible. The blackout also paused health services and operations from organizations such as Doctors Without Borders. Los Angeles fire officials imposed parking restrictions on certain roads in fear of potential wildfires caused by Santa Ana winds. A red flag warning will last through Monday as winds reach up to 65 miles per hour in some areas of Los Angeles. As a further precaution, residents have been warned that power may be shut off in certain parts of the county. I'm 6 Orange. Those are just 5 of today's top stories. To hear more, join us for our premiere Annenberg Radio News Show From Where We Are, right here at 5 o'clock today.
That was 6 Orange with some of today's top headlines. Former Vice President Mike Pence decided to drop out of the race this weekend. What does this mean for the 2024 election, and will Pence's campaign ideas have lasting effects on presidential policy discussions? 6 Orange has the answers.
Mike Pence withdrew his bid for the presidential election Saturday amid not gaining enough traction in the polls.
I have decided to suspend my campaign for president effective today. Now, I'm leaving this campaign, but let me promise you, I will never leave the fight for conservative values, and I will never stop fighting to elect principled Republican leaders to every office in the land.
The former vice president under the Trump administration, governor of Indiana, and congressperson for 6 consecutive terms, Pence has been involved in Indiana and national politics since the year 2000. Pence chose to announce his step back from electioneering in Las Vegas at the Republican Jewish Coalition's annual gathering, where the other Republican hopefuls and former President Trump took their opportunities to voice GOP support for Israel and debate each other's policies. Former running mate Donald Trump was less than compassionate to Pence's decision. He even alluded to the fact that Pence might not have been the best person to have beside him.
I chose him, made him vice president, but people in politics can be very disloyal. I've never seen anything like it.
Trump, who has maintained his lead in polling, is loosely followed by Ron DeSantis and Nikki Haley, polling better than Pence was when the Fox News national survey was released October 11th. Republican presidential candidate and former governor of South Carolina, Nikki Haley, shared her public appreciation for Pence and all that he has done for the United States and Israel.
He's been a good man of faith. He's been a good man of service. He has fought for America, and he has fought for Israel, and we all owe him a debt of gratitude.
Haley isn't the only candidate peer that feels as though Pence made the right choice. So does Chris Christie, former governor of New Jersey.
Mike, ran a tough race, a good race. It was very difficult for him. I think he made the right decision for he and his family to get out of the race.
There is currently no way to tell if Pence's withdrawal from the race will benefit any candidates. However, the future of Pence in politics is still alive. Pence is expected to remain involved in politics by progressing the conservative think tank he created after his vice presidency called Advancing American Freedom. In addition to that, he has a book being released next month. For Annenberg Media, I'm 6 Orange.
The second ever Arroyo Fest took place Sunday morning on the 110 freeway. It shut down the highway, allowing bikers, walkers, and skaters onto a 6-mile stretch between Los Angeles and Pasadena. The first Arroyo Fest took place in 2003, so why it's happening now, 20 years later? Hunter Denyu tells us more.
Bikers, walkers, and skaters alike took over the 110 freeway between Los Angeles and Pasadena on Sunday morning for the first time in 20 years to explore the scenery, build community, and encourage future modes of transportation. Volunteers with the California Conservation Corps, Cameron Jackson and Evelyn Castaneda, attended the Arroyo Fest 2.0 on Sunday.
It's wonderful. Everybody's like entering the freeway with their bikes. There's families, with their little ones and, skateboards. I wish I was here riding my bike, but I don't mind volunteering.
The Arroyo Fest was hosted by the Metro Open Streets Grant Program and had 3 goals: provide opportunities for riding transit, encourage future modes of sustainable transportation, and promote civic engagement at the city and community level. Rafael Lopez, a Pasadena resident, was very excited to attend this event with his family.
The fact that we're able to do something you don't do very often, which is ride on the freeway. We live here in South Pasadena and we drive through it every day, but to be on a bike or walking on it, it's very exciting.
Rafael Lopez's son, Cameron, was amazed to be able to walk the freeway and see all of the unique sights without a car window in front of him.
We've been biking on the freeway and I get to see everything, but not from the window, from actual outside. And in the inside of the car, it's just so boring because every time I don't get to see the bottom, and I always dreamed of what it looked like.
Robert Gottlieb, the organizer of the first Arroyo Fest and professor of emeritus at Occidental College, was happy to see the growth of the second Arroyo Fest.
But part of the joy of Arroyo Fest was for everybody to participate. Besides being 10 times the size of the first Arroyo Fest, the diversity in terms of age, in terms of race and ethnicity, sexual orientation, all those things were very clear.
The Arroyo Seco Parkway was built in 1940, making it the oldest freeway in the West. Designers intended the freeway to be more of a scenic route, where cars could enjoy the beautiful greenery and flowery medians at a comfortable speed. With the freeway now used as a commuter route, the freeway is highly criticized for its poor travel design and the safety hazards that come with it. Gottlieb believes that Caltrans would love to expand the freeway and make the Pasadena Freeway a much more safer method of transportation.
Caltrans would love to expand the freeway, but they can't for a whole bunch of reasons in terms of how they're blocked and how it was originally designed. And it wasn't designed as a freeway, it was designed as a parkway to go not just because it would be a slower speed, but because the experience in a parkway is to be connected to the places you're going through rather than simply thinking of the destination where you end up.
Gottlieb would like to see Southern California take steps to modify its transportation methods for a safer and more efficient future.
We can go from place to place in a very different way, whether it's walking that mile or biking or rail or bus. There are alternatives, and that's the way our transportation system should prioritize those ways of getting from one place to the next.
For Annenberg Media, I'm Hunter Denyu.
Taylor Swift is ruling the music charts and the box office this week with the re-release of 1989 and the Eras Tour movie. Aditya Thiag asked USC students about Taylor Swift's role in mainstream culture today.
"17 years after she released her debut album, Taylor Swift is continuing to dominate pop culture conversations. Swift has remained in the media spotlight by re-recording her albums and going on a worldwide tour. USC sophomore Sophie Sullivan stated that Swift was the main topic of online discourse on various social media platforms that she engaged with.
I think every day over the summer I would open Instagram and every single one of the headlines I saw was Taylor Swift's Eras Tour this and Taylor Swift's Eras Tour that. And now there's the movie and now there's all, the hype from the albums and stuff. But she's doing her thing. It's liberating. It creates a really beautiful fandom, honestly. It's fun. When else do you get to see a star build such an interesting world like that?
Her success in the music industry has bled into the film scene with her 2023 concert film, Taylor Swift, The Eras Tour. The film has grossed over $200 million internationally against a roughly $20 million budget. Her rumored relationship with Kansas City Chiefs player Travis Kelce has also led to a substantial increase in NFL viewership amongst Gen Z and millennial women. NBC Sports reported that the Chiefs versus Jets football game this month attracted 27 million viewers, the most for a Sunday night game since Super Bowl 57. Jane Davidson, an adjunct professor at the Thornton School of Music and practicing attorney of music law, spoke about how Swift's brand evolution has contributed to her ongoing success and likened it to a politician's career.
If you look at any political figure in the Democratic Party who was involved in politics in the early 2000s or 90s, and still is today, you will see that most of them changed their views on gay marriage, for example. Having a brand that can evolve as the public's views change and hopefully be a step or two ahead of the rest of the mainstream.
Not all of the discussion surrounding Swift has been positive. USC student Claire Barnhart noted Swift's selective activism when it came to championing feminist ideals.
I did watch this interesting video essay about like white feminism and how she kind of like really fits into that, like from a more corporate standpoint of like, you know, like supporting feminist ideas when it's useful for her, but then like when it's not important for her career, like she's just silent.
This idea of corporate activism is one that has led to heated debates amongst activist and pop culture communities. Davidson stated that Swift's activist statements can best be understood when examining them from strictly a brand perspective.
I would not expect to see her to step into the arena on issues beyond kind of those that fit with her brand, LGBTQ issues being the ones that fit with her brand currently. Potentially ones related to women might be issues that she might jump in on. But I wouldn't expect to see, for example, her commenting on issues affecting people of color, anything like that, because I would not expect to hear that from her from a branding perspective. Not saying that that is a good thing for her to do or a bad thing. It's just simply probably not a branding choice that we're going to see from her.
Regardless of the intent behind her activism, the Taylor Swift brand has extended far beyond the scope of music and has become a staple of modern mainstream culture on an unprecedented scale. For Annenberg Media, I'm Aditya Tiag.
It's that time of year again. It's spooky season. To celebrate Halloween, we ask students where the spookiest parts of campus are. Nick Varela has more.
Halloween is a celebration known for its scary and thrilling connotation. For All Hallows Eve, we spoke with students to figure out what parts on campus creep them out the most. Anna Delzio is a law school student who is creeped out by the chairs in the philosophy library.
The chairs kind of look like they're made of human skin. They're definitely real leather. I'm okay.
Jared Mendoza Tingham studies material sciences and believes the superstition of kicking the flagpole is uncanny.
The flagpole on the way to the football games by the metro stop. Maybe if everyone made sure that they kicked the flagpole, we'd have a better record.
Clay Barnhart is a game design major who is not a fan of the industrial parts on campus.
I'd say probably the industrial back parts that students don't normally really walk around, that has all the loud machines and weird smells.
Julia Martinez is a business major who is spooked out by the Doheny library.
Probably the book stacks in Doheny. I would say theirs, because it's underground and you get creepy vibes.
The Halloween spirit on USC campus is alive and well. For Annenberg Media, I'm Dominic Varela.
So for more on spooky USC stories, we have our producer Zifei Zhang with us to share their scary experience with the Doheny Library. So I've yet to go to the Doheny Library, so I was wondering what was your experience like? What made that place scary? Why should I avoid it?
Well, I went there for the first time maybe a couple months ago, and I was just trying to do homework. I was trying to find a quiet spot to do homework, and my friend's oh, I always go to the book stacks. And I sat down, And I'm not even kidding. I like felt like I was being watched the
Ew.
entire time. I was like hearing footsteps and I was like, is it my headphones? Like, am I listening to something that has footstep sounds or something? But no, it was just like I was hearing footsteps, like things were rustling all weird. Also, the fluorescent lighting in there was very much giving like haunted, like middle school vibes. But like, Doheny, it's like a Hogwartsy kind of place. So it feels like old and like kind of ancient. So when you
Yeah.
go into the book stacks where it feels like grimy and fluorescent lighting and all that, I just got so scared. I was like, I feel like someone's watching me. I feel like something's about to get me.
That is spooky.
Well, it sounds like it's a shared experience. It's given that other students also feel the same way. So do you
Yeah.
think it might be the time of the day you're going, or do you just think that just in general, like it's just a scary place?
I think it's just a scary place. Like, I'm like, once again, there's no like sunlight, obviously, because it's a basement. So I think the fact that it's like a basement in Southern California with like yellowed walls and like metallic bookcases, it's like, it's such an unfriendly like place to be. But like at the
Sounds
very
jarring.
Yeah, no, it's completely jarring. I was like, it's also really cold in there,
Yeah.
which I feel like a lot of people were like, oh, if it's cold, that means that there's a ghost in there.
Always.
So
I'm wondering, have you been since, or have you found like another library that you go to study at?
oh my god, I will never I will never go back to the Doheny book stacks after that experience, because I was just like, I am gonna get haunted. Like Annabelle is kind of gonna come get me. So I usually go to the arts and architecture library because it has natural sunlight. It's still in the basement, but it has natural sunlight, so it's scary. It feels less scary.
A little better.
Yeah.
Well, you heard that, Trojans. Now that spooky season's almost over, you need to change libraries.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Well, do you
Avoid
do you
Doheny.
like horror movies or anything? Like, are you?
That's the thing. I love horror movies and I love like anything scary, anything spooky. Halloween is literally my favorite holiday. So
So you're
I
not
ju-
just like scared easily. Like this was like,
no, I was just like, whoa, like there was a change of energy.
wow, good to know.
I'm a big believer in ghosts, so that's also
Yeah.
why. Like
Could be a
I was just
factor.
like, oh, it's getting cold.
Like Casper was there.
Yeah, I was like,
Literally.
I felt like someone was like about to
Wow.
get me, like a ghost was about to jump scare me or something. But yeah, I was like pretty scared. I was like, I have to go. Like there's an energy that does not want me here, and it's the ghost of Doheny Library.
Yeah.
That is wild. Honestly, kind of intriguing though, because now I want to check it out and see if like I get
You
the same
should.
vibe.
You should.
I will.
I feel like everybody that I've spoken to, like all my friends have gone, and they're like, yeah, it's weird in there. It's
Wow.
spooky. Yeah.
Good to know. Well, thank you so much for joining us and sharing
Yeah,
your
of
story. I
course.
mean, yeah,
Yeah.
letting the people know about Doheny.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So watch out for Doheny.
Yes.
Achieving a Guinness World Record has been a goal held by many for a while, and it's still just as relevant today.
3 weeks ago, Dorothy Hoffner, 104-year-old Chicago woman, recently skydived to achieve the record of being the oldest person to jump out of a plane. However, she passed away weeks later. Cheyenne, what do you think of people risking their lives for a chance at notoriety or fame?
Well, I think the issue is that now all these world records have become safety hazards, and
Definitely.
not just to themselves, but some of them require multiple people to be involved in it,
Mhm.
which means that you're also harming the people that you decide to take this risk with. And there's even ones like the longest person surviving without food and water.
Yeah, I know.
Do you know about that one?
I do. And then one time, my friend was like, what if I tried to get the record for like most time without sleeping? We looked it up. It's banned. You can't do that, which makes sense because like I'm sure so many people nowadays are trying to go viral, trying to get like, a record for some fame. But
Well,
like
yeah.
you can't risk your health for that. Like that's just insane.
Well, each year they update the book, and
Mhm.
last month they updated it and they added topic. There was topic of conversation since
Oh, that's
COVID,
awesome.
and also with TikTok like being most popular, they've altered the record books with safety hazard achievements, like first person to climb all the 8,000 meter peak. That's now a legacy record, and people have been trying to achieve all these crazy records.
That's really good that they're changing that because there's so many ways to achieve a record without risking your life. Like today, actually, 2,000 people in Buenos Aires, Argentina, dressed in Spider-Man costumes to achieve the record for the most people dressed as the Marvel superhero. There's also records like everyone getting on a mattress and having like the longest domino effect with mattresses. Would you do something like that?
Yeah, no, there's one that's the longest standing comedy show. I would for
That
sure
is
do
so
that
funny.
one. I was thinking about this. I was like, if people are doing the Spider-Man one today, are they doing that meme where everyone looks at Spider-Man and it's the 3 Spider-Mans and they're all pointing at each other?
They better be doing that. And I want like a big circle of all 2,000
Right?
people
All
doing
2,000
that. That would be
people doing that.
hilarious. Yeah.
There's also like the fastest marathon dressed as an elf in
I know.
2017.
I'm just like, who's coming up with these?
Right? Someone
It's
in the
insane.
UK actually completed it in 2 hours, 58 minutes, and 16 seconds.
That is crazy.
Well, what record would you want to achieve, Jack?
So my English teacher always yelled at me for speaking too fast whenever I'd like present something. So
You
I
do
think I
speak
could be
fast.
like, I know, I'm trying to fix that. I think I could go for like fastest talker though. I could use it to my advantage. What about you, Cheyenne?
Most Smarties eaten in 60 seconds, blindfolded, and using a chopstick.
That is really specific and crazy, but I want to see you do that. All right, well, that concludes our discussion of world records. This was a fun talk. And that's all we have time for on today's From Where We Are. Jordan Paul Slater, Gabby Medina, and Zifei Zhang produced today's show. Thank you to our multimedia journalist team, Ariel Chang, Jason Good, Isabel Crespo, and Nick Varela. And a special thanks to our field reporter, Jules Freeney, for his coverage of the Arroyo Fest 2.0. Sam Bittman runs our soundboard, Cooper Brown is our live stream manager, and Derek Renfro composed our theme music.
Catch us live on YouTube at Annenberg Radio News Monday through Thursday at 5 p.m. Subscribe to From Where We Are on whatever channel you're listening to right now. Finally, don't forget to follow us on Instagram at Annenberg Radio. I'm Cheyenne Dixon.
And I'm Jack Kruger. From all of us at Annenberg Radio, wherever you are, we hope you'll join us again for From Where We Are.